find it.
All right, we're here with the young lady that I was telling you about that we was going to see. Now, this is her. What is your name?
Adrian.
How old are you?
38.
And this is where you live at.
This is where I'm living right now. Like I said, it's been a long road for me. I always dipped and dabbled in drugs here and there when I was a teenager. I grew up with a getting ground pool in my backyard. You know, like my mother married a yacht broker. Like, we had money, and I was the girl that ran with the projects and everything my mom didn't want me to do. I went and did it and just rebelled. And like I said, I started dipping and dabbling in hard drugs. I met a man who sold coke, and I did a lot of it. We started doing a lot, and I was always the type of person to self-medicate. So when anything would go on in my life that was traumatic or hard, and I would self-medicate. I'm also diagnosed bipolar and manic depressive. So the self-medicating with the drugs, it goes a lot with mental illness and stuff like that. But like I said, I met a man. I was with him for 20 years. I have 2 daughters by him. And one year I lost everything. About 4 years ago, I just lost it all.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from Newport, Rhode Island.
And where do you live now?
I am currently in the South County Trail of Fall River, Massachusetts. It's a bike trail.
Okay, and you did mention you have kids. Where are those kids
Yes,
now?
I have 2 daughters, a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they're with their father at the moment.
Okay. And could you tell me what led them to their father?
My house got raided. I started selling drugs after my kid's father left me because it was what I knew how to do best. And my house got raided. My friend, I thought was a really good friend of mine who definitely didn't have my best interest at heart, but at the time I thought he did. Brought a gun in my house and kind of tied somebody up, and it was this whole big situation where I got kidnapping charges and holding somebody hostage, and they raided my house, and I got gun charges and possession, 18 grams of cocaine and crack cocaine for 7 grams, and I caught a lot of felonies at once, and so they took my kids away. It took a while, but my kid's father was able to get them in his custody. I signed over temporary guardianship, and I felt like the system was kind of just a trick off. You know, they want to see you fail almost, because they ordered me to do mental evaluations, and I had to do what the psychiatrist said. And the drugs that the psychiatrist wanted me on, the DCYF deemed me incapable of taking care of my children because I was on those. And they were, prescribed by the psychiatrist. So it was like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm doing what these people tell me to do, and then at the end of the day, what they're telling me to do is proving to them that I'm an unfit mother. Mind you, my kid's father was in and out of jail 3 years at a time sometimes, and I held my kids down to the fullest. I got my, I'm a licensed CNA in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I graduated high school. I was doing college courses. I always worked really hard for what I have. I was driving a BMW X3 SUV, same apartment for 9 years, and then the one time when you mess up, I did everything right, but that one time that I didn't, it was bad to the point where I just lost it all. And he was able to get them because he had more resources. He has a license, a car.
Tell us more about your kidnapping. What
Well,
happened with
okay,
that
so
what happened? How did that lead up?
A guy that I was getting my stuff from at the time, who I still consider him a pretty good friend. He's in jail for the rest of his life, but he was bringing me, he would cuff me anything I wanted, ounce to 2 ounces at a time, dope, crack, coke, whatever. And somebody was calling him a rat, and it just so happened that person that they called a rat was on his way to my house. So I was actually holding this guy's car keys because he was cuffing some stuff off me, and we were waiting for the ATM to open because you can only get a certain amount a day out of an ATM. So once the ATM machine opened up, I was going to give him his car keys back. We were going to go get the money. So like I said, I had his car keys, so he couldn't go anywhere. And this guy that he was calling around was on his way to my house, and I told him because he was a good friend of mine. And he made the guy get down on his knees, put a gun in his mouth, told him to say what he was saying before, and of course the guy's whole story changed, and the guy was on his way there anyway I'm not going to say names, but he's gang affiliated, he's connected and stuff like that. He was on his way anyway to give me my drugs, and so...
You said to kidnap you on drugs?
No, to give me my drugs. He was on his way to give me my drugs.
Okay.
So comes to my house, puts a gun to this guy's mouth, makes him get down on his knees, has him say what he was gonna say, what he was saying. Guy's story changed, but we didn't like fuck him up or do anything bad to him. We didn't tie him up or anything like that. We just wouldn't let him leave until we left, because we're gonna let you leave. You know where we are. You know where the gun is. We just put a gun to your head. You know I got drugs on me, so you run to the cops. You know, we're like a sitting duck. So we just told him that he couldn't leave until we were done doing our business, and then we left and said wait about 10 minutes, and the guy that we had watching him was to let him go, and he did. He let him go, and he went straight to the cops. So about 8 o'clock in the morning, the cops kicked my door in, looking for my boy and looking for a gun. They never found a gun. My boy was long gone, but I was there. You know, my kids weren't there at the time. So I'm thinking, you know, my kids won't be an issue. They're scot-free. There's nothing going to happen to them. But these way I got called. They took him right away, and that's how I wouldn't like the life I live right now, especially as a female. You can't get labeled as a snitch or a rat or anything like that, because I'm already vulnerable enough because I'm a girl, and it takes nothing for a bunch of people to run up on you, throw you in a trunk, or any case may be. So I gave the cops a hard time. I wouldn't talk to them.
Now, how long was the kidnapping? How long did you get kidnapped?
No, the guy got kidnapped.
Yeah, how long did you guys kidnap the guy?
Maybe about an hour, not even.
Yeah, I kidnapped him for about an hour.
Yeah, we had him for about an hour. We weighed out my stuff. Like I cooked a little something up from the soft, and you know, we did our business, and then
all in the presence of his home.
My home.
Your home.
My home. Yes.
So you brought the guy to your home and robbed him.
Right. Well, no, we didn't rob him. He was there calling my boy a snitch, and I was cuffing stuff to him. So
She had his keys.
yeah, I had his car keys because I was cuffing a couple $100 worth of material, and I wasn't even going to do it at first. But because he let me hold his car keys, and he was staying in my house while he got high, I cuffed him like $200 worth of stuff, and you know that's a lot. You know, it's $200. So I wanted my money. So
Back in the day.
Of course. So I held on to his keys, and then everything was supposed to be good. You know, and the money hit the ATM, and we could get it out. We were just supposed to go, but then he started talking trash about my boy. And at the time, you know, this was my best friend at the time. Like I said, I thought he had my best interest at heart. Clearly, you know, in the gang life and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is not the way to go.
It's not at all.
Yes, absolutely.
And that was my first big turn to disaster, you know, because I lost my house over that. I lost my kids over that. Me and my kid's father's relationship was distraught, you know, and I was with him for 20 years. We never got back together.
How long ago was this?
This was about 4 years ago.
About 4 years.
Yeah.
So
I've been homeless ever since. Yeah. And recently, in the last like 5 months, I've been in, we call it Tent City, but it's not a real city, but it's a close community of people that, you know, we call each other family. You know, we all help each other out and work with each other. And, you know, honestly, they say blood's thicker than water, but in some cases, I don't think it is. Because there's a lot of people right here that are really good people and just had a bad hit, you know, and just couldn't
So you
pull
took that
themselves.
case?
Yeah, I took full responsibility for it.
Well, obviously, when that all
The-
happened, they took you. You were giving them a hard time.
Right, I wouldn't talk to the cops at all. I wouldn't. I was basically telling them to go fuck themselves, you know. And there's this gang out there called the Asian Boys, and I was like, Asian?
Speak up.
There's a gang out there called the Asian Boys, and I was like, Asian? I thought you said he was black, you know. And I was just fucking with them bad, and it bit me in the ass, so to speak. You know, I would. It's hard to believe it, but I would probably do the same thing just because I saved him from going to jail for 25 to life, you know. It fucked my life up pretty bad, but at the same time, he'd be in jail right now as we speak. He actually is in jail for something completely different, but yeah. So that, I mean,
How often do you see your kids?
I was seeing them recently. I just started seeing them pretty often, about once a week. And then my kid's father is the type to, it's all in his hands. And he's the type to hold it against me if I don't want to spend the night or if I'm not getting along with him. He takes it out on me. So currently I haven't seen him in about 3 weeks. My youngest's birthday is coming up, and I'm hoping and praying that I'm able to see them for her birthday. But it really all depends on the mood he's in. And it sucks. It really does. And it's probably one of the hardest things of being out here is being away from my children.
Did your parents know that?
My mom passed away, which is also in that 1 year. Like I said, I lost my kid's father at 20 years, my kids, my home, my job, because of my charges, going to jail. I lost my car because of paying the car note, and my mom passed away. So all within 365 days, it was just like wham.
Wow, you got hit pretty rough.
Yeah.
Pretty rough.
And like I said,
you saying that's what led you to drugs?
that's what led me to spiral so far. You know, I hadn't really done dope before that, and I'm currently shooting heroin and fentanyl. I sniffed a lot of coke with my kid's father. I now smoke crack, you know, and everybody says you can pull yourself out of it, you know, but at the same time, I don't.
They're not in that position.
Yeah, they're not in that position, and it's a lot easier said than done.
Yes.
You know, and it doesn't make you bad people, you know, because drug addicts aren't bad people. You know, like, things could have just happened in your life where you don't know how to deal with things. And like I said, addiction and mental illness go together, I believe, in a lot. And like I said, I'm diagnosed bipolar, manic depressive, and like my highs are high, my lows are low, and I don't like to deal with my feelings. You know.
How was your childhood though, as growing up before?
Growing up, believe it or not, my childhood was great. I had an grandpa in my backyard. I rode horses. I had my own horse.
Did you grow up with mom and dad in the home?
They split up and they both remarried. My mom and dad split up when I was about 5 or 6. My dad remarried first. My mom remarried after that. They went through a bad divorce. I wasn't allowed to see my father for almost 6 months, and I was a daddy's girl, I'm the baby. So that was pretty hard on me. And I started to rebel after that a lot. And then once I hit adolescent, turned into an adolescent, you couldn't keep me in the house. I just ran away and did what I wanted to do. But I had the silver spoon, and I ran away to the projects, you know. And to this day, I don't really know why, because I had all the tools to do something with myself, you know, and I kind of just threw it away.
Did you graduate high school?
I did, yep. I graduated high school. I didn't get my GED. I actually graduated high school.
In college?
I started college courses to become a nurse.
Okay.
I'm a licensed CNA in Mass and Rhode Island. And, you know, my mom kind of kicked me out at 17 because she didn't want to deal with the bullshit. And I built my life on my own since 17 until when all that stuff started happening to me. So, I mean, it's hard to even think about it. I still get choked up thinking about my mom and like all the hard things that happened, because it's like, you had everything. What the hell did you do? You know, but, I mean, it's my life right now, so you can't cry over spilled milk. You know, you just kind of gotta every day get through it and hope tomorrow's better than the next day, you know, or the day before that, and just pray and, you know, put your faith in God and just try to realize that there is something out there for you, you know.
But how does it feel like not living with your kids and seeing them every day?
What do you mean? I don't live with them. My kid's father does. I can see them when
but how does it feel to not
be
live
able
with
to?
them
Oh, it hurts. It sucks.
and see them every day?
It's the worst. It's the worst part of the whole situation, because I was like a soccer mom. You know, my oldest did basketball. I was up at 7 a.m. bringing her in bed to games and practices, and you know, I baked cookies and we had movie nights, and like, I was a stay-at-home mom. You know, and like I said, I was with the same man for 20 years, and you know, I did the laundry and the cooking and the cleaning and all that type of stuff. But at the end of that relationship, I didn't even know who I was anymore. So I'm just finding myself again to figure out who I am, you know. But that's the worst part of it, is not being there every day.
Now, have you ever went through any trauma like the R word?
I've been raped once. Yep, I have. I was raped once. I
can't say that word. Could you please not say that word?
I apologize.
You gotta say SA.
Okay. Well, yes, that happened to me one time. I was a dancer. I was coming home from the club.
So you was a dancer?
Yep, I danced with a fake ID when I was like 16 up until I was 27. My oldest daughter asked me why she couldn't go into my job, and she started asking me questions about my job, and I couldn't answer them. So that was the last time I did it. I stopped, but I was from 17 up until about 26. I was a dancer, and I was coming home one day from dancing, and a guy followed me home. And
speak up, please.
I was coming home from work from dancing one night, and a guy followed me home, and he caught me in my hallway. I couldn't close the door behind me fast enough to get into my building, and I mean, it wasn't longer than maybe 10-15 minutes, but it was probably the longest 10-15 minutes of my life, you know.
Wow. Now, how did that make you feel?
I did. I did.
How long did it take you? Was it like that?
It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. It actually took me a little while to even.
How long did it take you? Like days, weeks, months,
a couple months probably. A couple months to even want to talk about it at all. To, you know, my kid's father just noticed me down and not the same, you know, and I didn't want to be in relations with him. I didn't want him touching me, and he wanted to know what was going on, and I just broke down one day and told him, you know.
Now, did you save anything, or like some people do, or they don't want to? They go right in the shower.
I got right in the shower, and I actually burned everything that man had touched on my own. I when I just got rid of it all.
Did you burn it so you didn't want to know memories of it? Or you was trying to get rid of the memories?
I think I was more like I just wanted to pretend it didn't exist, and I was just disgusted with it. You know, thinking about it made me feel dirty. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
Yeah, and I just didn't want
So
to.
the cops still, like, after that, cops don't know about it?
No, I never. Well, because you can't really press charges after that. I think 3 days you can't do the kit after 3 days. So really,
It
I
could
felt
be
like
20 years, it could be 50, but that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Did you, like, save anything?
no, I didn't want to relive it.
No, I get it.
Now,
I
why
get
didn't you report it to the cops?
I wanted to pretend it didn't happen. I just didn't. I also, it was hard. I didn't know how my kid's father was going to take it. I didn't know how he was going to react. You know, he was very physical, mental, emotionally abusive.
If he was going to believe you or not.
Right, that too.
It's like cheating.
You know.
Well, maybe if you did, you could have saved someone else's life. That guy could be still out here raping, doing the R word to people.
You know, you're right.
And you could have saved someone's life.
I probably could have. And I mean, you're right. It was too much for me to handle. Like I said, I self-medicated. I'd rather just sit and get high. And,
now, is that another thing?
Oh, yeah.
Like, once that happened, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I started smoking crack about a month after that happened to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for the first time. Just to kind of...
Now, tell me what ways you're doing to, like, better yourself.
Currently, not much. Just trying to get through every day. I do want to start doing some things. I've done the self-detox. I've never been to detox, but there's been times where I would sit somewhere where I know I was safe and just kind of get dope out my system or calm down with the drugs. And there's been times where I've been sober here and there. It's definitely something that I want. You know, it's just hard because the way I live and the way I survive, it's around me. You know, and like I said, I have felonies, I've got evictions, so it's hard for me to get an apartment, it's hard for me to get a job. So the best way I know is to sell drugs, and being around those drugs, it's hard for me to not want to do them, you know?
Yeah, because you notice, I've seen you around here before, and I come around here all the time. I come feed the people, I bring blankets and stuff, pillows, clothes, just to help the people out around here.
We appreciate that very much.
And I wanted to just stop by when you gave me that call, just to see what world are you living in and how are you living.
That is so nice.
And how does it feel? Oh, that must be your friend. I'm not gonna put him on camera, but it looks like he's brought you
he's coming to bring us
something.
some food. You know, we all look out for each other. Like I said, blood's not always thicker than water.
That's right.
You know?
That's nice. He brought us some food.
Yeah.
Yes, that is nice. That is nice.
We take care of each other. You know, you have to.
Yeah.
Usually, those are the people that, you know what I mean? Instead of blood.
Right. Yeah.
Their sisters.
Right. You know, I have some people that aren't my blood and you know that I would consider family.
And they take care of you better.
Oh yeah. I have a really good friend of mine who I met right when all this stuff was happening, and you know, she's been there for me since the day one of my struggles. And the people that I thought would be there weren't. You know, and there's a complete stranger who people consider an addict or you know whatever the case may be, and she's helped me through a lot.
Now your dad's alive.
My father is alive.
Does he know what's going on?
He does. He knows. He sold weed and coke back in his day. He's a bit of a hippie. You know, he was raised in the 60s and 70s, so he knows what it is. You know what I mean?
So does he know that how you living?
Yes, he does.
How does he feel?
He hates it. You know, I can always go down to Florida or go wherever he is, but at the same time, I want to be on my own. He does now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you go to his house?
Yeah, I could, but then it's follow his rules and being at his time, and you know, it's like he treats me like a child. You know, I am his child, but I'm not a child, so I like to be, you know, on my own, more independent.
Yeah, but why not go down there just to get yourself clean?
You haven't met my father.
Could you say it again?
You haven't met my father.
Oh, he's real strict.
Yeah, very.
Well, maybe that's something you need, young lady.
And maybe it is, you know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Maybe she's just not ready yet.
I was just gonna say that, you know, unless you're really, really ready, you're always gonna go back to it, you know. And I know I need some changes, but I'm not ready.
Especially
right now.
Florida, way over there. You know what I mean? It is good to get away from the people that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But Florida, they got it out there too.
Oh, they sure do. Yes, they do. They got it everywhere.
Yeah, but what we want you to do is stay clean. no matter where it's at.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's the goal.
That is the goal.
And you'll get yourself out of predicament, and maybe you see your kids more, and maybe you'll get them back.
That's the goal in the long run. That is something I definitely want to do.
Step at a
I know
time.
it's going to be hard and it's going to be tough, but maybe I think I need a little more support. You know,
You need more people.
yeah, to push you to do the right thing. You know, but I know I do got some good people in my corner, and I just got to call in my resources. But
Well, we'll help.
Yes, you know, we'll help. We'll try to get out some resources for you to
I'd
try to
appreciate
get
that.
you help.
I'd appreciate that a lot.
This is what we're about.
Yeah.
It's about helping one another in the world. Now, if you don't mind, can I show you 10 around?
Go right ahead.
She do have a pretty nice size tent for herself. Yes, pretty nice size tent. So, well, young lady, I'm not going to take up too much of your time,
Okay.
but if anyone want to donate, do you have a Cash App or Facebook, Instagram where anybody can reach out to you?
I do have a Cash App. Oh boy, I gotta think of it real quick. It's Lily, Lilli, 9724, I believe. I might have to double check that. No, I'm sorry, 9427.
Okay,
Lily
let's
9427.
repeat it so we can have it right.
It's Lilli 9427.
All right. Thank you, young lady, for all your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.